It's an unprecedented time in U.S. politics and history. President Trump is just the third president to be formally impeached. 1868 saw Andrew Johnson impeached. 1974, Richard Nixon resigned before being formally impeached. And Bill Clinton was impeached in 1998. President Trump is the third to be charged. The trial began Tuesday with a debate over rules. This will be in our history books, but what are teachers telling students about this now?
I am teaching a class right now called Winning the White House, which is all about presidential elections, where we focus specifically on the 2016 and 2020 presidential elections. And needless to say, the students in there had a number of questions about the impeachment process because it has some pretty serious implications for 2020.
Students in Northwest Collegiate Academy's AP American Government class were curious about what could happen if President Trump is removed.
Who would run for the Republicans in the election? Would it be whoever takes over the office after? Would they run a primary?
So if he's convicted, I would assume it would only be with the call of witnesses. If they don't call witnesses, I just don't see it happening. So assuming a witness, let's say John Bolton hypothetically comes and says, the president was there, he said this, I heard him say this, which I don't even know that he'll say that, but hypothetically. Then the question is, does this rise to the level of removal from office? Which even then, I'd be suspect. But assuming he is removed, Vice President Pence would then become president.
This is just one, and the most significant implication if Trump is voted to be removed from office. With a presidential election in just a few months, Dr. Morris says the Republican Party would be scrambling. He says a removal is not very likely. When discussing this in the classroom, Dr. Morris ensures it is a discussion.
Well, these issues always have a tendency of turning into a partisan debate. And my job as a professor is to make sure that we look beyond the partisan debate and look at the implications for the institution as a whole. This process is associated with a potential activity, a potential high crime and misdemeanor that has serious implications for the office of the presidency. What's at stake here is whether or not we are going to condone the invitation to a foreign official to participate in our election process here in the United States. Whether or not Donald Trump did that or didn't do it, well, that's something that's going to be determined at a Senate trial. But for my students, what's important is to understand that what the Senate decides to do or not do has profound implications, not just for them, but for their children and their children's children.
There's lively discussion in his Winning the White House class, including some questions Dr. Morris has never had to answer before.
But right now, we have a presidential election occurring at the same time we have an impeachment going on, an impeachment trial. And that makes for a whole bunch of questions, many of which I have never experienced before in my life. For example, students want to know, what exactly is a high crime and misdemeanor? In the normal course of events, you never talk about that. Maybe a lecture on impeachment here or there, but right now, students are really concerned with this question of what is exactly a high crime and misdemeanor for which a president can be removed from office? And that's a great discussion to have.
Dr. Morris believes this is a moment in history we should all be paying attention to.
This is one of those moments in history when everyone should stop what they're doing and pay attention to what's going on in Washington, D.C. This isn't just about Donald Trump and whether you like a border wall or don't like a border wall, whether you like his approach to healthcare or you don't like it. This is about an issue that stands to reshape the executive branch of government. So to not be paying attention to this, I think you're not doing your duty as a citizen.
With this being a rare event in American politics, we can all add a few notes to our American government notebook. In Erie, I'm Emma Rose Lewis, YourErie.com.